Good morning. I hereby call to order this 8th meeting of the Pennsylvania Public Utility Commission for the year 2019 and ask that you please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. I ask as a reminder that you note the safety information on the inside of this morning's cover of the agenda. The Commission will act on various matters at today's meeting, which is open to the public. However, since adequate forums have been made available for public participation in cases before this Commission, there is no opportunity for the public to address the Commission at this public meeting. The first matter on this morning's agenda is the approval of the minutes for the April 11, 2019 meeting, and I call upon Vice Chairman Sweet, who is the editor.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I've reviewed the minutes of the public meeting of April 11th, 2019, and move that they be approved as submitted.
You have heard the motion to approve the minutes. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Coleman. Any further discussion or edits? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? The motion passes 5-0. This time we'll call up our Secretary, Rosemary Chiavetta, to lead us through this morning's agenda.
Good morning, Madam Chairman. Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
Your various bureaus and offices have prepared the following agenda items for your consideration. Therefore, let us begin on page 1 with matters presented by Director Monahan and the Bureau of Audits. It is recommended that the Commission adopt in an omnibus motion all of the audit reports appearing on page 1.
Is there a motion to adopt the staff recommendations?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Place, second by Commissioner Kennard. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion passes 5-0.
Turning to page 2 in matters presented by Director Sophie and the Office of Special Assistance, it is recommended in an omnibus motion that the Commission adopt both of the items on page 2, beginning with the petition regarding SPG management versus the Philadelphia Gas Works, and continuing to include all the items on page 3 and both items on page 4, ending with the complaint by the Bureau of Investigation and Enforcement versus Deer Haven LLP.
Is there a motion to adopt staff recommendations?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion by Vice Chairman Sweet, second by Commissioner Kennard. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion passes 5-0.
Turning to page 5, it is recommended that the Commission adopt the proposed opinion and order in the proposed rate case of Aqua, Pennsylvania.
Is there a motion to adopt staff recommendation?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Kennard, second by Vice Chairman Sweet. Any discussion?
Yes, I have a statement on the matter.
Commissioner Place.
Thank you. Before us for disposition is the recommended decision of Administrative Law Judges Angela T. Jones and F. Joseph Brady, recommending approval of the joint petition for settlement, as well as the exception submitted by Mr. Robert Curtius and the Treasure Lake Property Owners Association, Incorporated, and the reply exception submitted by Aqua Pennsylvania, Incorporated, and Aqua Pennsylvania Wastewater, Incorporated, collectively Aqua. I commend the participating parties and the presiding administrative law judges for reaching a comprehensive settlement on the base rate case issues and the accompanying merger application and the underlying proceeding. I believe that this settlement agreement contains a number of constructive benefits, both for Aqua's water and wastewater operations and services, and for their consumer ratepayers. The settlement agreement at issue includes the allocation of $7.1 million of the wastewater services revenue requirement to Aqua's water services and operations. I'm just enjoying stumbling on the sentence. This is consistent with the statutory mandate of Section 1311C of the Public Utility Code, past rate-making practices of the Commission, and serves the public interest in the overall context of the settlement agreement. However, this presents issues for certain individual ratepayers, such as Mr. Curtius, who obtain water services from Aqua but wastewater services from other providers. In this arrangement, Mr. Curtius is being billed for costs associated with Aqua's wastewater services revenue requirement. Although the settlement does not address this issue more specifically, I hope that the participating parties will further review this in future rate proceedings. The general point here is that his wastewater service is provided through Philadelphia, and is not a wastewater company, but of course, he's under the umbrella of both water and wastewater for Aqua. So I will not prejudge the case, but I do have concerns of just and reasonableness when a customer is being billed for two wastewater services, one in which he does not benefit. With that, I will close. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Place. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion passes 5-0.
Turning to page 6, in matters presented by Director Diskin in the Bureau of Technical Utility Services, it is recommended in an omnibus motion that the Commission adopt all of the items on page 6, beginning with the tariff proposal of PPL Electric Utilities and continuing to include all of the items on page 7 and both of the items on page 8, ending with the application of NE Energy LLC.
Is there a motion to adopt staff recommendations?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion by Vice Chairman Sweet, second by Commissioner Coleman. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion passes 5-0.
Turning to page 9, in matters presented by Chief Counsel Panque in the Law Bureau, it is recommended that the Commission adopt in an omnibus motion all 3 items appearing on page 9, beginning with the petition of Urish Popek and ending with the cancellation order of motor carriers.
There a motion to adopt staff recommendations?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Place, second by Commissioner Kennard. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion passes 5-0.
Turning to page 10, in matters presented by Chief A.L.J. Rainey and the Office of Administrative Law Judge, it is recommended that the Commission adopt A.L.J. Buckley's recommended decision in the petition of Valley Energy.
Is there a motion to adopt staff recommendation?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Coleman, second by Commissioner Kennard. Under discussion, I do have comments I do want to place on the record. Before the Commission is the petition of Valley Energy and associated settlement between parties. The settlement in this proceeding seeks, among other things, approval of a proposed surcharge to facilitate financing of a natural gas pipeline expansion project. The expansion project, if completed, would provide access to prospective customers in the area of East Athens through construction of pipe under the Susquehanna River. The settlement caps the expansion project cost at $1.7 million and proposes to finance this through 3 means. First, $850,000 in funding via a pipeline investment program grant from the Department of Community and Economic Development. Second, $489,000 in funding from new customer distribution rates. And third, $361,000 in funding from new customer contributions in aid of construction, or CIAC. The CIAC may be paid in a lump sum or amortized over 10 years and paid through monthly installments levied via a surcharge. The surcharge would only be applied to new customers in East Athens connecting to gas service. Valley projects over 90 new customers will connect to the service. I would like to take this opportunity to commend Valley for its practical commitment to extending natural gas service. The instant settlement appropriately allocates costs to new customers while offering financing optionality through the new East Athens surcharge. This design insulates existing customers from costs and is consistent with the numerous extension surcharge programs approved by this commission. Further, I am pleased to see Valley utilize DCED grant funds. Extending access to natural gas distribution service is a challenging endeavor, to say the least. While the costs of the commodity are extremely competitive when compared to other heating sources, the cost for investment to fix infrastructure can often be significant. I continue to support reasonable efforts to grow natural gas access to the state while not unreasonably burdening existing customers. Because I believe the instant case achieves this balance, I am happy to vote for approval. Any further discussion?
Chairman, I do have a comment on this as well.
Commissioner Coleman.
Thank you. First of all, I'd like to associate myself with your comments this morning on the efforts of Valley Energy. In my opinion, they deserve the gold star today for their effort. As many of you remember, it was about a year and a half ago that this commission was tapped to serve on the NARUC Natural Gas Expansion Task Force. And it was through that effort that we looked nationally at impediments to extending natural gas and looked for best practices and ways that we could overcome those impediments. And through that process, as the chairman's indicated, those are some of the tools that we had identified through that NARUC task force, particularly at looking at the SEAC, the contribution piece for customers to contribute towards the expansion of natural gas, and that's the instrument that is being used in this project this morning. Excuse me. So we're seeing a SEAC here that is extended over a 10-year period that makes this project, excuse me, makes this project affordable for those customers. The second tool, as the chairman's indicated, is the use of a pipe grant through DCED that makes this even more affordable for those customers. So this is precisely what we had in mind as we talked about best practices on a national level, and here we are seeing it here in Pennsylvania. And I would note that this is in Bradford County, right in the heart of the Marcellus Shale region. So this is a great project to showcase this morning. And again, congratulations to Valley Energy for taking on this project. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you, Commissioner Coleman. Any further comments or discussion?
Yes, I have a comment as well.
Commissioner Place.
Yeah, from this commission's perspective, of course, this is economic. It does pencil out, but it pencils out because of the $850,000 grant, state grant from DCED. I won't argue whether subsidizing is ever beneficial or always beneficial or case specific, but I do have qualms because that if this makes sense because $850,000 of taxpayer money. It's clearly not ratepayer money, but it's taxpayer money. And they are maybe distinct, and maybe it's a difference without a distinction. But if we always focus on competitive markets here, and this does not increase demand for energy. Energy exists to these customers, electricity and fuel oil. So we've got a fixed pie, and we're introducing a new player to that pie, which of course can bring competitive pressure to reduce costs. But we are eating the lunch of the incumbent suppliers, whether that's fuel or electricity, by doing so. And we're doing it by putting the thumb on the scale with $850 of taxpayer money for 90-odd customers, so something upwards of $10,000 per customer. So that's why this gives me qualms. And we've had long discussions about subsidizing nuclear, for example, and there are areas where state subsidy makes some sense. But when I look at this, I do have a hesitancy when we think about competitive markets, whether it makes sense to be choosing winners and losers against incumbent carriers. So with that, thank you.
Thank you very much, Commissioner Place. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion passes 5-0.
Continuing on page 10, it is recommended that the commission adopt Special Agent Arnold's initial decision in the complaint of Brenda and Herb Robach versus the Philadelphia Gas Works.
Is there a motion to adopt the staff recommendation?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Place, second by Commissioner Kennard. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? The motion passes 5-0.
Madam Chairman, that concludes the regular agenda. Turning to the carry-in agenda, on page 1, it is recommended by the Bureau of Technical Utility Services that the commission adopt in an omnibus motion both items on page 1 regarding the proposed rate increases by the community utilities of Pennsylvania.
Is there a motion to adopt the staff recommendation?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Coleman, second by Vice Chairman Sweet. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion passes 5-0.
Turning to page 2 of the carry-in, it is recommended by the Law Bureau that the commission adopt the proposed order in the petition of the People's Natural Gas Company.
Is there a motion to adopt staff recommendation?
So moved?
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Place, second by Vice Chairman Sweets. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion passes 5-0.
Madam Chairman and Commissioners, that concludes all agenda items to be considered today.
Thank you. Before we adjourn, I would like to turn it over to Commissioner Kennard to give us some comments on Safe Drinking Water Week.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. Senator Jean Yaw has declared May 5 through 11th as Drinking Water Week in Pennsylvania to coincide with National Drinking Water Week. In Pennsylvania, there are more than 9,200 water supply systems providing service to 8 out of 10 of our citizens. The Commission renews our commitment to solving current challenges facing the industry and a focus on aging infrastructure and drinking water contaminants. And we pledge to continue to work with our regulated companies and sister agencies to fully realize the public health benefits of the Federal Safe Drinking Water Act of 1974 and the Pennsylvania Safe Drinking Water Act of 1984. Specifically, I'd like to thank Senator Yaw for offering the resolution that created Drinking Water Week, and I want to thank specifically our staff for their tireless and talented work in the area of water, specifically Mark Pankew and his Deputy Chief Counsel, Sean Sparks, Paul Diskin, head of TUS, and his talented team of Sean Donnelly and John Van Zandt. I also want to thank our regulated companies for doing what I consider to be an exceptional job of delivering safe, potable water to Pennsylvania citizens. Thank you, Madam Chairman.
Thank you very much, Commissioner Kennard. Anything further to come before the commission? I believe not. So without objection, is there a motion to adjourn? So moved. Is there a second?
Second?
Okay. All those in favor of adjourning?
Aye.
I'm assuming there's no opposition, so we are adjourned.